This is section 1.4. But before doing that, I want to go back and do one last problem from 1.3. Problem 39, F circle G circle H, where f of x is 3x minus 2, g of x is sine x, h of x is x squared. So f circle G circle H means f of g of h of x is x squared. So I'm doing f of g of x squared. G takes the sine of whatever you give it. So f of sine of x squared. And then this thing goes in for f, whatever's behind my finger goes right there. So 3 sine of x squared minus 2, or 3 sine x squared minus 2. All right, 1.4, we're dealing with the exponential functions. It's a function of the form f of x equals b to the x power, where b is positive, but usually we don't allow b to be equal to 1. B is not equal to 1 because that's too trivial. Okay, so 1.4, the homework was 1 to 21 odd. So I'll show you those problems on page 53. And for those of you that don't have the book and aren't getting it, oops. Seems to have lost the connection there. So unfortunately, I'll have to try to bring that back up. Okay, so let me try to get that to you again. Seven, 9, 11, 15, 17, 18, and it'll be 21, which is on the next page. And there we go. Okay, number 1, A, 4 to the negative third over 2 to the negative 8. Bring this up as 2 to the positive 8. Bring this down as 4 cubed. 4 is 2 squared, so 2 squared cubed. 2 to the 8th over 2 to the 6th, which is 2 squared, or 4. B, write it as an exponent. 1 over cube root of x to the 4th means 1 over x to the 4 thirds. The number on the top is the power. The number on the bottom is a root. Cube root, 4th power. 3b, 6y cubed to the 4th means 6 to the 4th. Y cubed to the 4th is y to the 12th over 2y to the 5th. 6 to the 4th divided by 2 is 648. Y to the 12 minus 5 is y to the 7th. Rough sketch of 3 to the x, 10 to the x, 1/3 to the x, 1/10 to the x. Well, they all go through 0, 1. 3 to the x and 10 to the x are increasing. So 3 to the x like so, 10 to the x. On this side, it's above, but on this side, it's below. And then 1/3 to the x is like so. 1/10 to the x on this side is below, so on this side, it's above. Okay, so the two graphs switch sides, so to speak, after 0, 1. The one that was higher on this side becomes lower on this side. Okay, 11, 4 to the x minus 1. I take my typical exponential function, 4 to the x, goes through 0, 1. Just drop it 1 unit. So 4 to the x minus 1 goes through the origin. Notice when you plug in 0, you get 1 minus 1, which is 0. And the asymptote becomes y equals -1. Y equals 1 minus a half e to the x, e to the negative x. So I showed you the progression. Here's e to the x, e to the negative x. Okay, replace x with negative x, you get the reflection across the y-axis. So that's e to negative x. And negative e to negative x is a reflection across the x-axis. So this is negative e to negative x, and then negative 1/2 e to negative x is only half as low, so to speak. So it goes through 0, comma negative 1/2. So final answer, we have this graph right over here. Okay, and oh, I'm sorry, that's not quite the graph. The last one, you add 1 to the whole thing. So that's negative 1/2 e to negative x. Add 1, so 0 negative 1/2 becomes 0 1/2, and the graph looks something like that. 17, y equals e to the x. Y equals e to the x minus 2 moves the graph 2 down. e to the x minus 2 like so, it moves the graph 2 to the right. Negative e to the x, that's a reflection about the x-axis. E to the negative x reflect about the y-axis. And negative e to the negative x reflect across both axes, reflect across the x-axis and then the y-axis, or vice versa. Okay, 19a, f of x is this thing. It asks for the domain. Well, I just have to make sure the denominator is not equal to 0. So 1 minus e to the 1 minus x squared equals 0. Well, that means the thing behind my finger needs to be 1. Okay, so 1 equals e to the 1 minus x squared. Take the natural log of both sides. ln of 1 is 0. So 1 minus x squared equals 0. Add x squared equals 1. So x is plus or minus 1. So the domain is all real numbers minus a set consisting of plus or minus 1. Okay, problem 21, they show you a graph. F of x is c b to the x. It passes through 1, 6, and 3, 24. So I plug in 1 here, 6 for y. Remember, f of x is y. And it says 6 equals c b to the 1. 3 comma 24, put a 3 here and a 24 here. 24 equals c b cubed. Divide both sides by 6. cb is 6, it says so here. So I get 4 equals, after cancellation, b squared. B is plus or minus 2, but by definition of an exponential function, we aren't allowing negatives. So b is equal to 2. Plug back in, b is equal to 2 right there. And that gives me c is 3. So final answer, f of x is equal to 3 times 2 to the x power. Okay, all right, so that's section 1.4.